Well, welcome to CBM Assembler Part 2 for the Commodore 64. In Part 1 I put together all the kit and you saw how that looked, and you can see from the screen here on my Dell monitor the sort of slightly fuzzy picture I get from it, but it works quite well. I tested everything and the disk drive works, which is based on a CD, and this adapter which goes from the back of the computer to the screen. Everything seems to work and it's okay. In part 2 my aim is to start assembler programming on the Commodore 64 and see if it's easy. What do I mean by that? I don't mean perhaps the programming is easy, but really the process of getting to there, because I found it quite difficult. I hope you enjoy my journey. And my chosen assembler is the Fast Assembler, which was released in the Computer magazine sometime in the 80s, and of course that's available as a download. I've downloaded it and I've placed it on the SD card. To access the SD card as a drive, the supplier recommends that you use FB, a program which they provide as a link for you to download to use the drive effectively. And basically to find this, you type the following command on the Commodore 64, which is load $ in parenthesis COM8 for the disk drive. Inserts it and it says ready. So I've got to do list. Right, and there's a list of different FBs as it's called. You just type in load FB. If I could stop being in the PC world for a minute, $8, just load FB, $8, hit return, searching, it's loading. And you type in run. And it changes the screen. It's the CBM file browser. And it loads and it gives you this list that's on the screen. The Fast Assembler is on the last file called 1FASS.d.64, which is a floppy disk image. Hit return, it says loading, and then it gives you again a whole set of files for you to look from. So I'll select assembler, hit return. Thinks about it for a little bit, and there it is. So it's a little bit of a process. You have to have the file browser to access really the files on the SD card. Okay, manage that, downloaded it, got it to work. Then you need the D64, which is the image for the floppy disk on that SD card as well, which you download via your PC. Once that's all ready, then you can load it up and you get to the actual assembler. That's not the end of the story though, however. To get the assembler to work, you need some shell basic, because you need to run some commands to enable the assembler to work. Well, which is the load $ in parenthesis 8, and do a list, we see that there's a whole pile of files on that disk, and there's something I've called shell, which are the basic commands you need to get the assembler to work, because it's not as simple as it first appears. You just type in load shell, $8, it loads the shell, it's quite quick. Type in run, and you're ready. And if you do a list for that, you see, what you actually see is there's a program on there which says for pass equals 1 to 3, org, the origin. At the moment that's the default, which is 2049. In my actual program you'll see I look at a different location. Then you have to run a pass. You say if pass equals 3, then org, which is where your program, the assembler program is going to be assembled to, (1). You stick in your code, then you do next pass, and you type :end at the end of the whole thing so that it knows when to finish. Once you've got the shell, as 499 and 999 says there, is that there's a section. This is arbitrary, you can change it to whatever you want it to be, of where you want your code to be. Now the code I've decided to start with for myself is something very simple. The code, which you'll see the example on the screen, is basically change the colour of the border and the screen at the same time. The actual machine code is only 5 lines long, and the example shows there this round statements or comment line statements, so you can see what things are doing. The fast assembler needs all the extra code to go around that. And once this is loaded, you can start to code. The 5 lines becomes a lot more, but the basic remains the same. However, please note, and I missed this the first time round, make sure you put exit and :RTS at the end of the code, because there your code may not seem to work. So when you actually type in that where your program is via the sys command, it'll return, and then all of a sudden the code will execute. Now I have the example code. So if we do load do list, we have something called BSC. So that's border screen color. So if we load BSC, right, there it is. If we list it, it's not very long. You see we got the shell program. We still got to go through that 3 passes. You see the origin now is changed to a hexadecimal number, where we're going to type in the sys command, and we have the actual assembler commands. First is a definition of a variable, which is border color location, and that's in hexadecimal, which is D020, and then we have the screen color, which is D021. Depending on what values are in there will affect the color of the screen and the border. And then we have 2 operands, which say ink border color, and then ink screen color locations. And then we have the command exit and then RTS. That's slightly wrong in this program, so let's make that change. Type in run, very quick to make it work. Then we type in sys 49152. Now this is the decimal number for that org where we actually put the program, which is the $C000. That's actually points to that location 49152. We hit return for that sys command, and it changes color. And that's one of the disadvantages here, because I can't see the text is actually on the screen. So let's see if I can just type it sys 49152. Here we go, change the color. Not very good, is it? But as you can see, it's changed the border, and it's changed the color of the screen. And we can keep on doing this, and it will cycle through the colors that are available. Don't know why it wants to keep on doing that one, I don't know, but sys 491. Right, let's try again. Sys 49152. Okay, type in run again. Sys 49152. Oh dear, it's even worse. Even worse. So yes, there's something we can see on the screen. Something at least we can read what's actually on the screen there. That's the simple assembly program which I've put together. That's the first stage. Doesn't do a lot, but I've enabled myself now the stage to remember, or have before me, what I need to do with the floppy disk drive, the pseudo floppy disk drive, the commands I need to type in to get the actual assembler working, and the shell program which enables me to perform these very simple commands to begin with. I hope you've enjoyed this example. If you've followed what I've done so far, you now know the parts that you need to purchase. You know how to download the fast assembler and the file browser, the required basic code that you need. And it's simple, isn't it? No, not really. It's quite complicated. But I hope this has perhaps helped you gone through the pain that I've had to discover to get this to this stage. Before then we can perhaps look at doing different things with assembler to do something with the Commodore 64. See you next time.